Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Unique This Week. It's a production of Uniqueness is Power. My name's Andy Grider, and I am your host and hopefully good guide to new, cool content that we bring here every single episode. Hopefully, we're bringing folks that are coming in from the blue ocean, or if they're in a red ocean, they figured out a way to change the color there and make it at least pink. We're talking about a hospitality play here today that is very unique in that most folks, and I'm a former bartender, so I know this very well. And I met Vince and I went, wow, this thing's brilliant, because how many bottles get lost? How many bottles get stolen? How many bottles get dropped? How many bottles don't get accounted for? How much loss is there in the liquor side of your business? How much loss is there every time you have a bar that is profitable? They could be much more profitable. And that's what Vince Anido and his company Barminder bring. Vince, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, hey, it's a pleasure. I mean, we're really blessed to be able to get such great guests on that we can talk about neat new innovations within spaces that are age old. Hospitality is one of the oldest industries out there, and there's been an ongoing problem with cost control in the liquor side of things. Can you talk to our audience a little bit, just sort of framework this a little bit, Vince, and talk about what the problem looks like so that people are shot up front of what that is?
Yeah, so it's one of those things that a lot of people who aren't in the business really don't think about. And it centers around the fact that for most bars and restaurants, if they have a bar, that's their profit center, right? They only make about 10% margins top line for the business, but they make 80% margins on their liquor. Their problem is that studies have shown they lose about 20% of their liquor inventory every month due to shrinkage, overpours, free drinks, just mismanagement.
Every month.
Every month.
20% of their largest part of their profit center.
Yeah. And on the face of it, it's like, oh my God, how is this possible? Well, for those that actually live it, it's because there's no great way to deal with it. Most of them have been doing it the same way that it was done 100 years ago, and that's with a pen and paper. They literally walk around, they say 10% in the vodka, and they write 10% vodka. And then they do the whole bar that way. And then they go in the back and they count all the bottles in the back. And it's only then that they have any idea how much they went through, what they need to order. It's a huge problem, because if they did lose something, they have no idea what happened or what, like when it happened.
Right. Well, and there's all sorts of, things you can do to deter theft and other things like that, but that still doesn't solve the problem of free drinks. That doesn't solve the problem of overpours. That doesn't solve, I talked about this with somebody who said, oh, well, you can put up cameras and keep people from stealing bottles of liquor. I'm like, that's not what we're talking about here. Although, I mean, that can be stopped as well. But let's talk about let's talk about Barminder. Let's talk about how this system works. We're 100 years ago using pen and paper in current day situations, right? What does Barminder do to come in and address that and bring it into the, dare I say, current century even?
Sure. So Barminder is an automatic liquor inventory system. And so what that means is you get your delivery from the liquor distributor, they wheel it in, you grab the first bottle, you scan the barcode with our system, we tell you what it is, you apply a sticker to the neck of that bottle, and then you put it on the shelf. And that's it. We have a system that automatically counts all your bottles in storage. When it leaves storage, we can tell that it happened at that time. We have a wireless liquor pour spout that can then identify that it's been put on to that particular bottle, and it measures all the liquor as it gets poured until it's empty.
Now, one thing, as a former bartender, I know those spouts that are on these things get abused terribly. What have you guys done to address that?
So we put a lot of effort into making these things built for real bars, right? They will get abused, they will get damaged, but we've put a lot of energy both to make it look like a regular pour spout and to make them incredibly durable. We've done drop tests with full liters right on the top, and they're fine. To wash them, you just soak them in soapy water, and that's it.
Hey, cool. There's one. You're holding one up. That's awesome. Nice. Yeah. Everybody take a look. So that wireless spout is not only just going to monitor all the drink pours and pair themselves to that actual bottle. How much training do they need to do for their staff or for things like that? I mean, what's involved on the labor level?
Thankfully, zero. right? So that's why we've limited it to, you apply this sticker to the bottle. It's exactly like a self-checkout at a grocery store, right? Anybody that's ever been to something like that, that's exactly what it is. You scan the barcode, you just have a little dispenser that has these tags on it, and then you put that on the neck of the bottle, and you're done.
How long does one of these wireless spouts actually? I mean, it's going to last more than one bottle. How long does it last?
Our current estimates are at least a year.
And about how long does it take to get the ROI back on the investment in this?
Our customers so far by month 3 at the latest. Many times it's the first month, depending on the amount of loss they were experiencing before. Our customers, granted, we're in only a handful of locations so far, but our average customer sees about a 30% increase in their liquor profit.
So another issue that I'm wondering about, let me ask, first of all, is this all cloud-based? Is this all internet-based? So I don't understand.
It's internet-based, but we're using state-of-the-art edge computing. So the whole system works completely offline. However, when it can, our system synchronizes with the cloud, and you're able to see in real time in a mobile app what's happening in your bar.
So it's not reliant on the internet. It is using that as an ancillary piece.
Exactly.
So if the internet goes down, it won't affect your system at all. You're not going to be able to all of a sudden have people pouring free drinks like crazy, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay, that's awesome. That's a fantastic answer. I wasn't sure how that would work. And then, the one other thing that I personally always have been annoyed by as a former bartender, was the sort of sanctity of the drink mix, as it were. When one bartender pours, a shot and a half versus a shot, and somebody says, oh, their XYZ is better than yours. Well, it's because they poured it wrong, actually. What does this do to help with that kind of thing? How does it stabilize drink mixing?
So by bringing visibility into what's actually falling out of bottles, we're providing management with the ability to find those moments to train their bartenders. Because what we found is a lot of times they didn't know, oh, we pour 2 ounces in our Manhattan, right? And so they're really about surfacing the data so that the management isn't like, why are we going through so much whiskey? Like, we're not selling that much. Well, it turns out you had a bartender who's they had the recipe wrong. And so this provides the ability to just bring a lot of that above board so that the management can make sure the customers are getting the experience they're trying to design.
That's fantastic. So when somebody is looking at doing this, what does it look like to work with you? I mean, this is a full inventory system. This is something that is not just the spout. I mean, you held that up earlier, but I don't want people that are watching or listening to think this is just a spout. This is, it's not just about the little thing that goes in the bottle. This is full on inventory control. So when you integrate this into a bar, what does it take? I mean, what do they need to do? What's their commitment to you? And then what's your commitment to them?
Thank you. I appreciate that, because it is something we've realized that in the industry, there's been a couple people who've tried intelligent pour spouts before, but they all fall under what we call liquor control, right? The owner there is concerned about overpours and they're trying to shut it down. We've designed our system so it can be used that way, but we actually have several customers who are not using it that way. We have several customers who just don't want to count anymore. They're tired of that weekly ritual of 4 hours counting bottles. And so the user experience of our system is one that enables different types of customers to get different things out of it. Right. So for the customer that is just really concerned about overpours and wants to be able to train their staff more efficiently, it absolutely can be used that way. On the other side, we have a couple customers who, like, one of them is an Irish pub. They have literally 270 different types of liquors behind the bar. With our system, he literally has a magic wand and he walks down the bar both ways and he knows exactly how many bottles he has. And he's done. To do his ordering, it now takes 15 minutes.
And not 4 to 8 hours.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. So is this only on liquor, or is there a way to do this with taps and beer and things like that as well?
So for right now, we're starting with liquor, right? But we absolutely have aspirations of expanding to wine. That's just a data problem. There's about 36,000 different types of liquors in the United States, which sounds like a lot until you realize there's about 500,000 wines. So we've designed our system in such a way to where we're using a camera to scan all the barcodes. And our goal is to be able to eventually add wine and make that just as easy an experience as liquor is currently.
Okay. Remind me when we're done with the show. I have another thought on that for you. But then the other question I would have is when you're scanning these, you're scanning the barcode. How is that tracking the bottle? Let's cover that because that's a question I think probably a lot of people might have.
Sure. And so for us, the barcode exists just to be able to identify the type, right? This is a 1 liter bottle of Tito's unflavored vodka, right? But our tags are uniquely identified in the universe. They all have their own fingerprint, so we can differentiate between individual bottles. So when you check something in, you tell us it's a Tito's, and we associate that identity so that we can individually track that Tito's bottle until it goes all the way to the trash.
Okay. Very, very cool. So if somebody does want to implement this, if there's a bar, do you do a pilot? Do you do how do you work your system, and what kind of overall investment do they look at to put in? And I won't say cost, I'll say investment, because this obviously has a heck of a return on it.
It does. It does.
By the way, it's never ROC, it's always ROI, right? So there's no return on cost, there's return on investment, however. So
yes,
here we are.
And so essentially there's a upfront fee that goes along with installation that covers the hard costs. And to be honest, we don't really make any money on the installation. And so we've priced that as aggressively as we can. And then there's a monthly service cost that scales depending on the size of the bar. And in terms of, what was the second part of the question? I apologize.
Just approximately what their investment is as far as how much it costs per spout, that kind of thing. What kind of return do they? Well, I mean, we already covered the fact that this should return within 3 months the full cost, but what does that essentially mean?
Sure.
To them?
So our target pricing is $2,500 installation fee and $399 a month for the service.
Right.
And so for the average bar doing 200 to 400 bottles a month, that's what we've seen that ROI equal.
Right.
In terms of installation, right now we're coming and doing it in order to help you. We tag all your bottles, do inventory one last time. We are working towards a self-installation, which will help us make it a lot easier for rollout. And the goal ultimately is to help as many bar owners as we can, because it is a tough, tough business.
It is. It absolutely is. It's tough as an owner. It's tough as a server, bartender. All across the board. And to make it easier like this is amazing and wonderful. I know you guys are a growing company. Is there anything else you're looking for?
Right now, we're just trying to get connected with as many owners as we can to be able to basically launch this here in the next several months. And so we're looking for anybody who's interested in hearing our story and is tired of counting bottles.
Well, I was going to say, I can personally vouch for that story. I was laughing when you were talking about pencil and paper. I was laughing when you were talking about 4 hours, because that was when we were lucky. Yeah, it was
You're doing it right. That's what it takes.
Yeah, right. But the other, I mean, the last part of this that I would say is, how would someone contact you at this point? Vince, what's the best way to get hold of you?
Sure. Best way to find out more is at barminder.com, BARMINDER.com. You can reach out to me directly at vince@barminder.com or on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Fantastic. We'll put all the contact information up for you as well. And for all of our folks out there that are interested in this, please reach out. Please share this with the folks you know in hospitality. Share this with the guy who never gets home until 4 a.m. because he's counting bottles too late. Share this with the bar owner or the restaurant owner who you just know is kind of at the end of their rope, because this is a saving throw of sorts for them, and something that I'm really pleased to be able to spend some time with you, Vince. This is fantastic. Kudos to the inventors and to the smart entrepreneurs. Again, this has been an episode of Unique This Week. My name's Andy Grider. I'm the host and producer here. If you know somebody who'd be a great guest, please let us know. If you thought this was a great show, please share it with everybody that you can. If you want to take a look at all the other shows that are out there, go to uniquenessispower.com and take a look there. That is the YouTube channel that holds every single show that we've done. We're starting to do these more regularly, and we hope to have many, many, many more guests here in 2023 for you. We've got a slate already of about 5 or 6 people coming up, looking forward to hearing from you, our listeners, about people that you might know, and hearing from you as well about what you thought of these shows. Again, thank you very much, Vince. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, man.